Okay guys, we've got a doozy today. First and foremost, Massachusetts has extended our stay-at-home advisory and complete economic shutdown until May 4th. In Virginia, Governor Northam has effectively shut down the entire state until June 10th, which has some major issues I highlighted in another video. I've been hearing rumors in Massachusetts from teachers who have sat in on the school board meetings that local superintendents are saying that public school is done until fall. It's just that no one has announced it yet. It's almost as if states are competing to see who can close down the most things for the longest period of time. That isn't to say that this virus isn't concerning, but shutting down the economy for 3 or more months at a time is going to be pretty catastrophic. But perhaps the most chilling thing I've seen so far is the National Guard checkpoints in Rhode Island.
Starting today, the Rhode Island National Guard is going door to door in coastal communities looking for people who recently traveled from New York State.
I followed a National Guardswoman and Westerly police officer as they slowly drove down street after street in Westerly in search of New York license plates.
And here, my friends, is where I conveniently remind you that Palmetto State Armory is a supporting partner of this channel. And for all the craziness in today's world is somehow managing 10-day shipping on all of your favorite sporting goods and accessories. Palmetto State is veteran-owned and works to bring you the best deals on sporting and outdoor gear. To help the channel, just use the link down in the description and do your regular shopping.
Wink, finger gun.
This situation is still developing, but as of Wednesday, there are 5 different checkpoints in the state of Rhode Island that are being manned by both state police and the National Guard. The police and National Guard are also going door to door to root out travelers and put them in quarantine. The governor announced this via executive order last Thursday, and it is mandatory. Failure to comply is a $500 fine and 90 days in prison, which kind of defeats the purpose of self-quarantine. This is serious. We are now living in every dystopian novel you have ever read. What is even more serious is that this was originally a measure taken in the name of protecting Rhode Islanders from the hotspot in New York City. That initiative has since changed, and the state is now essentially closing its borders to all travelers in and out of the state. The only people being let in are essential workers from out of state who are able to prove with proper paperwork that they have a reason to be traveling. Even people who are moving are either being quarantined or turned around unable to go through with scheduled moves to new homes or apartments, or students, as even moving companies aren't being let into the state. This Bloomberg headline is exactly what's happening. Because lawyers told the governor she couldn't actually close the border, Rhode Island police are instead hunting people down. The car checkpoints started on Friday, and at the time, these checkpoints were limited to New Yorkers. Anyone that the police saw with a New York plate were pulled over and told they would be quarantined. Cops were stationed at both the border and at rest stops, and flashing signs were put up along highways to warn people that they would be stopped. But that wasn't all. Governor Raimondo also stationed the National Guard at the airport, all train stations, and all bus stations in order to question people as they were getting in. The National Guard was also ordered to do door-to-door checks on travelers in order to enforce the quarantine orders. But they weren't just checking on people who had been stopped on the roads, airports, or at the bus stations. They also descended on towns where New Yorkers are known to have summer homes and started conducting door-to-door searches for anyone who had been in New York within the previous 2 weeks. According to people who were visited by the National Guard, they were asked personal and identifying information, as well as the number of people who were supposed to be in the home.
You're sheltering enemies of the state, are you not? You're sheltering New Yorkers underneath your floorboards, aren't you?
But that was last week. The New York-only order lasted a solid 2 days before it was repealed and replaced with a new one on Saturday. One that now bars all travelers, including people who work in other states but live in Rhode Island. Those lucky lads and ladies are required to work from home and, if they can't, have to be in quarantine every single minute that they're not at work. Residents are calling the police to tattle on neighbors suspected of traveling. Police are patrolling the parking lots of grocery stores, looking for out-of-state plates. The National Guard is even visiting homes if there's a parked car without a license plate out of suspicion that the family is harboring an out-of-state traveler.
Even checking cars where the license plates were not visible.
These door-to-door searches aren't just for New Yorkers anymore. They're for anyone who isn't a permanent resident of Rhode Island or anyone who traveled anywhere in the last 2 weeks, including people who work just over the border in Connecticut and Massachusetts. That's terrifying. Right now, as of the writing of this video, these are the most extreme enforcement measures in the entire country. Even in Florida, where they're also setting up checkpoints and are requiring people to travel with papers, they're not sending the police or the National Guard to people's doorsteps. I don't want to be an alarmist here, but if this doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, of all people, vowed to sue the state for the New York ban, crying that it's unconstitutional because suddenly Cuomo cared about the Constitution. But don't worry, it was only temporary, as he backed down and changed his tune the minute the order was changed to keep out all the other states too. The ACLU is up in arms about this, and rightfully so. Being from New York or any other state is not probable cause, and being interrogated under that guise is a violation of the Fourth Amendment, no matter how helpful the government thinks that it would be. According to the Rhode Island Accountability Project, state police are telling people that the checkpoints and quarantines are a request and not a demand. Though I don't think that a mandatory executive order with a penalty of jail time is the same definition of request that I remember.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
The police, meanwhile, also maintain that they're not violating anyone's constitutional rights because they're just following orders. That is today's Liberty-related news. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and be safe out there. If you enjoy my work and want to help support it in other ways, because apparently this pandemic has at least temporarily made me a full-time YouTuber, you can find me on Patreon and Subscribestar, check out the partners down in the description, or give a one-time donation through PayPal or crypto. Until next time, thanks for tuning in and helping me to spread the message of liberty.